Today we're on a construction site in Hunts Point in the Bronx. We're going to learn about rebar. What is it and how is it part of the foundation that's being laid right behind me? We're going to speak with Andrew Simmons, the owner of A&S Rebar and Lachey Construction, about his path, how he was incarcerated, came out, and reinvented himself to being a prominent black leader in this industry and even getting an invitation to the White House.
You know, when you say rebar, they say, what is that? So when you ride across the bridge, what stops that bridge from falling is the concrete, and then the rebar is reinforced in the middle of that concrete.
So how did you get into this industry?
Construction, I would say, is in my bloodline. My mother passed away when we was kids, when I was 8 years old, from lupus, and my mother's brothers was builders in Birmingham, Alabama. And me and my brother used to go down south and we used to build with them. You know, Yonkers had a lot of black folks that was marching and saying no justice, no peace. They wanted to be involved. So I said to my brother, let's go sit down and talk to the mayor and all of them instead of striking and saying no justice, no peace. And from there was history. People out there that's selling drugs and doing bad things. If you give them a job and you give them a part of something, they can change. I think our younger generation, we have to be careful with, can get hurt in the streets. They gotta go back to the old fundamentals. They need to work. You know, it's like my daughters. I had my daughters working early in my office. You know, they wanted allowance, they had to work. And now, you know, my oldest daughter's a travel nurse. My middle daughter, she just got her master's and she started her lashing business. Her name is Lachey, so it matches the lash. You know what I mean? And they hustle. My grandbaby's 14 years old. Wow. She getting ready to get a job down there in Virginia right now. She said, Granddad, I'm getting ready to work. Wow. And when she comes up for the summer, she works in my office. Wow. So she says sometimes she don't want to work with me because I work her too hard.
Yeah, but they're lucky to have a dad
yes,
like you.
Yes. And, you know, it's funny, I had a friend of mine, a lady, when I was young, and I used to be on the streets hustling, she used to always say, you know, you look like a lawyer. You know, and that really played into my mind. And it played into my mind that I said, wow, you know, do I really gotta be a drug dealer? You know what I mean? But I was like, nah, I'm doing what I'm doing, you know what I mean? But when I went away, that actually stuck in my mind. And today, you know, I think about it from time to time and I say to myself, better than that. We had started my Brother's Keeper program over 27 years ago. And the way that worked is whatever we did as the developer and the contractor, all of our subs had to hire people from my Brother's Keeper program. And that meant a lot to us because when we was going to the streets, where people was actually selling drugs, hustling out there, people we know, word of mouth, yo, what's the name, just came home. Okay, bring them in, let's give them a job. I don't want to just go and get people from an organization. I like to get people off the streets.
Wow.
You know, that, because if somebody could have grabbed me, maybe it could have prevented me from doing all the time I did, you know what I mean? So, you know, I probably did over 500 projects with MTA as a subcontractor, you know, Avenue J, Avenue N, all these different train stations, Croton, Cherrytown. And then Michael Gardner came along, which is was the chief diversity. He's now over with New York City with the mayor now. So I was one of the first ones in the Small Business Mentor program. My first job was Port Jervis train station. I was the GC there. And that happened during the Sandy, the storm. Yeah. Guess what this is?
What is it? It looks like a hurricane to me.
Ah, you want to take one more shot at it?
A tornado?
No. This is a head. That's the arm. It's a person submitting, bowing down, submitting,
I see it. Like
being humble. It always,
I see it.
It keeps me humble because I get a little, you know, sometimes you get a little crazy and you gotta keep yourself humble. So this is always to let me know to appreciate and be humble. Don't forget where you come from.